everyone, welcome to my channel. I decided to start this channel to try help people because I believe it's my calling, and I would also like to grow myself by applying what I've learned and what I'm going to learn, because you never stop learning and no one is perfect. So I am on that journey of self-discovery, and I hope that you are going to join me and enjoy this video. So what is a spiritual awakening? A spiritual awakening, in my understanding, is a shift in consciousness. So one day you think this way, and it's probably in a very negative way and manner, and then the next day you completely change and you think in a positive manner. So there's always that time that we switch. For anyone that's gone through a spiritual awakening, they will know when this was. For me, it was on the 17th of June 2017. All my life, I went through a bit of a rough time. Like, I went through depression. I had been a cutter when I was younger. I had been suicidal quite a number of times throughout my life. And one day something happened in my life that made me completely change the way that I thought. One minute I was a ball of mess. I was a complete mess, and something just clicked in my mind, and I heard this voice that said, you're experiencing all of this pain and this hardship because you're not listening to what it's trying to teach you. That's exactly what I heard in my mind. I can't explain what it was, but I think you guys all know what it was. Like, there is something bigger than us, and on a deeper level we all know. And I believe I had a message from that source. So I heard this in my mind, and it completely made me look at life differently. I woke up the next day and I saw things completely differently. I saw the colors around me were more vibrant. I saw everything with such a sense of beauty, instead of like that dark gray cloud always over me. Like, I would be too scared to wake up in the morning to deal with the day because I was so negative and critical of myself. And all of a sudden that just changed. I woke up, saw everything differently, got this really amazing job, working at a gym, pretty much working for myself, but working at a gym, which was really great. I started accomplishing so many things that I had put on the back burner. I started studying yoga, which is really, really something I am interested in, but I just had never pursued. I started studying yoga. I was exercising. For anyone who knows what depression's like, you don't want to exercise. And for me, being a personal trainer, it was quite difficult having this complete passion for fitness, but not applying it myself. So I was training. It was really great. I think it was about a week after that, I was like, something's really strange has happened to me, and I can't really figure out what's gone on, because how do you think one way your whole entire life, and then all of a sudden it just changes and it clicks, and you realize that 90% of the things that have happened in your life have happened because you have not let go of what you've been holding on to, and you haven't learned from what it's taught you. So growing up, I held on to a lot of things. My mom was a single mom. My dad left very early. I didn't have I wouldn't say I had the best confidence growing up. So a lot of the time I felt very lonely. I don't want to get too into it. I'll leave a link below to a little vid to explain a little bit of what I've gone through, but don't want to go into past events, because everything you speak becomes a reality. So from now on, my life's going to be amazing. I just know it. So growing up, I didn't have many connections in life. I had only 2 close-ish friendships my entire life. The reason I say close-ish is because to me at the time they seemed very, very close. But now that I look back at them, they were only close to me because it was the closest form of friendship I have ever had. Okay. I decided to start researching to find out what the shift in thought pattern was. Why has this happened? Like, what is it? And I came across quite a few different answers, and the one that was most obvious to me was that I had gone through a shift in consciousness. I do believe that we are in a very important time in our life as humanity right now. I believe we are in a very transitioning time. We are going into a complete new era, and I think these things are happening more often than people actually think, and it's all because we've chosen to make the difference and make the change and open up to the idea that things could be different. So I started researching, and I started speaking to a couple of people. It was really nice because I started connecting with people that I felt a very deep and true connection with. And I, for the first time ever, understood what the hell life was about. Like, I got it. I understood it. I felt like I had the answers to the universe. I'm saying this in a very non-egotistical way. I felt like I had the answers to everything. You could ask me anything. I was really bad at math, and all of a sudden I understood, and I wanted to research things like the power of 3, 6, and 9. I never even knew who Tesla was. Like, to me, I just knew it had something to do with a car, and all of a sudden I was like, who's Tesla? Like, let's find out about him. I started reading things about metaphysics, which are, for anyone who wants to learn, it is incredible. Learn about metaphysics. I don't know why they don't teach it. I do know why they don't teach us in school, but that's for another video. I started learning about so many different things about humanity, really, that I had never ever thought about learning about. It was a couple days after my awakening that I had this really strange experience, and I know this is going to sound very crazy to some people, and to some it's going to make complete sense and they're going to resonate completely. But I was listening to a video, I don't know what it was really about, but I heard this word and I couldn't believe it. I was like, I feel such a connection to this specific word. I don't know what it is. I feel like it was home. I felt like it was family. It felt benevolent. It felt like it was bigger than me, and I didn't really understand why I was drawn to this word. So I decided the one day to Google it. And the word that I was looking for was Pleiades or Pleiades. And I didn't know how to spell it or anything like that. I finally found this word I was looking for. And I watched this video, and it just happened to be a star system made up of 7 different stars, and they are located in the Taurus solar system, well, the Taurus star collection, if you can say that, in the sky. And it is the Eye of Taurus. It's very weird. So I was like, this is really strange. Like, why does this mean something to me? So at first, I didn't really want to put anything on social media, so I had joined 1 or 2 groups that resonated with me and just drew me in. And I started speaking to people about what I had experienced and asked if anyone had felt like that, any connection to this word too. And it turns out that there are many people around the world that have felt a huge draw towards this word, and to maybe the high vibrational beings that come along with the Pleiades. You can imagine, if I did put it on my social media page, people would have thought I was nuts. So I decided to just speak about it in these groups, and I was very, very happy to find out that I was not going crazy, because you really do feel like you're going a bit nuts. You go through a sense of isolation, which in my life, I think it was preparing me for this time in my life, because I obviously haven't had a lot of close people present in my life. So for me, I hope this is going to be a lot easier than it is for most people, because it's difficult to you know what, it's not difficult. It's not difficult. what's difficult is that the fact that too many people don't understand that this life is so much bigger than us. It's so much bigger. I can't wait for everyone to see how big we are in this big plan. It's incredible. Okay, so I was feeling pretty good for about 3 months. I was on top of the world. I was doing things I hadn't done in a very long time. I started studying again. I was exercising every single day. I changed my diet, not out of choice really. One day I just tried to eat meat and I just didn't like the taste, and I got put off of it, and I became a vegetarian for a couple months. And then I had a death in my family. My aunt passed away, and all of a sudden this big cloud of negativity came over me. Although I understood death so much differently compared to what I had previously, because I understood energy differently, I still had, it wasn't a mourning, it wasn't a mourning feeling, because I understood what happened once someone left this earth plane. But it was just this really negative feeling. I actually had it a couple of days before my aunt passed. And from then, things just didn't feel really on track. I started experiencing a lot of suicidal thoughts. I experienced a lot of depression. I had no luck to get up and do anything anymore. I had stopped doing things that I had previously done, meditating and stuff like that. And to be honest, I was annoyed that I finally found like I belonged somewhere, and I felt like a connection to so many things, and I felt a connection all of a sudden, and then it was just gone because I felt that I wasn't getting any more answers. And I understand now why I wasn't getting answers, is because I allowed what happened to me. In my opinion, I believe that you are tested to see how strong you are and what you've learned, and not tested in a cruel way or a horrible way or anything like that. You're tested in a strength way to see how strong you were. And at the time, I don't believe I was strong enough. I started feeling pretty lonely, and I started looking into why I had felt so different my whole life and stuff like that. And I actually went to get some tests done, and I was diagnosed with Asperger's. For anyone who doesn't know what Asperger's is, or Asperger's, it is a high functioning autism, which is very hard to diagnose, especially in women, because we have got we're pretty good at masking things, and because we're emotional people, we don't quite get the diagnoses we need at a younger age, because it's very hard to pick up, and it is only something that has started to come up prevalently the last couple of years. So I was diagnosed with Asperger's, and at first it was a relief. It was a relief because I felt that so many things I had battled with in my life were because of this neurological difference in my brain, and it wasn't because I was a loser. It wasn't because I was hard to be around. It wasn't because I was annoying. It wasn't because I wasn't worthy. It was because of my brain. So I was scared about going public with it in the beginning, especially with my family and everyone. And it's not very known in South Africa. So I tried to start educating people on it first by posting a lot about Asperger's. And then I plucked up the courage to make a video. And I told everyone that I have Asperger's. And the response I got back, I didn't do it for attention, I did it for understanding. And the response I got back was not very understanding. It was one of ignorance. It was one of, I wish I could explain how it made me feel, but I can't. It felt like I was all alone again. It felt like one day I was going to start being accepted by people because, hey, this is who I am and this is how I am. And then all of a sudden people are going to start talking to me, and people are going to start, maybe I should make an effort with her because she doesn't know how to have a friendship, for instance. And it never happened. My family didn't understand it, and it's nothing against my family. It's just something that is very hard to understand, especially if they've grown up with you your whole life and no one's really picked up on the hard things that you've had to deal with. So I went back into depression and it really upset me. Like it made me feel like a loser because I felt like I couldn't catch a break. It felt like one thing after another was just trying to break down my spirit, and it did. I allowed it to. And I myself put myself in this box. I put myself in this box that I'm never going to be able to do this or do that because I have Asperger's. I'm never going to be able to help and teach people or do anything because I have all of these challenges and I don't know what I'm going to do about it. So I'll be honest, it was very, very difficult. It has been difficult these last couple months. Since October, I've had many down days, and I haven't been myself, and I know myself is what I felt those 3 months. So the last month and a half or so, I've decided to start doing what I feel I've been called to do. I've decided to make this video because I've had constant nagging. You know when you hear that little voice in your head that keeps on telling you to do something and you don't do something and it just keeps on coming up and up and up? So my YouTube channel is one of them. So I've decided to start this to, one, help people because I believe it's my calling. I've always wanted to help people, whether it be in fitness or beauty, like just become a better version of themselves. So I did this to teach people, and I also made this video to help me. So I'm going to be applying everything that I would have liked to apply, well, would have liked to have applied during that very amazing time that I went through, and continue with it. So I hope you join me on this journey, and I will start to post things that have helped me. One of them is this really great book. It's called Think and Grow Rich by, sorry, it's in a reversed image. Think and Grow Rich by Napoleon Hill. A really, really good book. I've heard many things about this book and I finally decided to read it. And two things that just stuck out for me, for people who are in a bit of a rut and don't know what to do. The one is, no one has ever been defeated until defeat has been accepted as a reality. So you are in charge of your own life. You'll only be defeated unless you accept your defeat. That's one thing I learned. The next thing, let me just find this. Nothing is impossible to the person who backs desire with enduring faith. I do believe that anything is anything is possible in this life, not impossible. I believe that anything can happen if you put your mind to it. And I do have stories of law of attraction that have worked for me previously, and I will speak about that in my videos to come. You need to fight for what you want to be. You need to pursue what you want to achieve. And no matter how many times I've made this video, I criticize myself no matter what, and nothing is ever going to happen unless I post this video. So I hope that someone's resonated with this, and I hope to continue to help people, and I hope that I will continue to make connections and grow with people who are like me, and hopefully become the teacher that I'm meant to be. So hope you guys enjoyed this. If you did, please leave a like, comment, and subscribe. It's a free subscription, so it will only basically notify you of when I post. I really appreciate your support, and I hope that I too can grow in this journey. Bye.